Okay, fine. Now, this is a campaign which seeks to reduce the age limit for running for elective office in Nigeria. Now, the campaign started in support of bills and motions in Nigeria's National Assembly, sponsored by Tony Nwulu, from a House of Rep member from Lagos, and also Abdulaziz Nyako, a member of the Senate, as well as Samson Itodo, who is not a member of the National Assembly. Now, the bill seeks to amend sections 131, 177, 65, and 106 of the 1999 Constitution, and the four sections deal with the age qualifications for the office of the President, Governor, Senate, House of Representatives, and State Assembly members. Now, let's move on. All right. Now, these sections of the Constitution provide 40 years as the age qualification. Now, if we have the breakdown here, now this bill will reduce the age of candidacy. Now, if we take for the House of Assembly, for instance, if we're going from below, it stands at 30 right now. That's the specification of the Constitution. But the bill seeks to reduce it to 25 years. And then if we move to the House of Assembly, House of Rep rather, it's the same thing, from 30 years to 25 years. And now for the presidency, it stands at 40 right now, and they intend to reduce it to 30 years. For governors, it is 35. They want to reduce it to 30 years. And for Senate, it is 35, and they want to reduce it to 30 years. So if you look at all of these offices that are meant to cater for the polity and policy of the country, they want to reduce everything to 30 years for the national and 25 years for House of Reps and the House of Assembly. Now, investigations by the TVC Breakfast reveal that none of the current 146 members of both the Senate and House of Reps is less than 38 years. Yes. And that is, well, senators, we have 109 senators, and we have 360 House of Representative members. And in all of this, only one of them is below the age of 35. They have to put on this now. And he's Honorable Abdulmalik Zubairu Bungudu, is an APC member from Zamfara State, and he's 38 years. He's the youngest member of the National Assembly. And if we move on there to the governors, we have the youngest governor is 42 years, and he's Yahaya Bello of Kogi State. He's 42 years, is the youngest governor in Nigeria. So this is a little incursion into what we're talking about, but they want to open the space so people can be part of what they are talking about, the not too young to run bill. Now, if we take you back memory lane, the youngest head of state, a military head of state that has ever run Nigeria is General Yakubu Gowon. He was just 32 years when he took over power, and he took over power by coup d'etat in 1966 from Agui Ironsi at that time. And if we also tilt it, the oldest is Abdusalam Abubakar. He was 52 years when he became, 56 years rather, when he became head of state. And he took over from late General Sani Abacha. And he was the one who put the new political democratic dispensation together and handed over to a civilian government. Now let's move on. Now, if we come to the civilian space, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is Nigeria's youngest civilian president. He was 52 years when he became president. He took over from late President Umar Musa Yar'Adua, who died in office in 2010, and he became the president that time because he was vice president before then. And then if we also look at the highest point, we have our current president, Muhammadu Buhari. He is Nigeria's oldest civilian president. He was 73 years when he took over power, or when he took over the reins of the presidency in 2015. Right. So we see all the spaces we're talking about. Now, perhaps this is a phenomenon common in the African continent, as the incumbent president of some African countries are above 90 years old, and we have been in power for decades and decades. We know of President Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe. He's about 92, 93 years old right now, and elections in Zimbabwe will be up in 2018, and the ZANU-PF is fronting him to run again. For the next so we're looking at all of that. And then we also have Beji Essebsi, President of Tunisia. He's 90 years old, was president, and that said, we have this people becoming president. Young people are saying, give us a space. Let us come and bring up something on board. Now let's take a look at what obtains in other countries of the world. Now in Croatia, in Slovenia, in Finland, and in France, the minimum age for contesting the presidential and parliamentary election is 18 years. So if you're 18 years, you're free to contest. So like they say, if you get to the age of voting, then you can also stand to be voted for. Now let's move on. Now, in many countries across the world, the age limit in presidential elections is higher than that in local and general elections. In the US, for instance, now presidential candidates must be at least 35 years old in the United States. And Italy has one of the world's highest age thresholds, requiring any presidential candidate to be at least 50 years and above before you become the president of Italy. So these are the standards, and these are why there is much more calls for the space to be opened so that other young people can bring up something on board. Now, Ibrahim, if we get to the issues on ground, we know that across the world, there are peculiarities with different countries. Yes. We have Nigeria now the way it is, with all our ethnic and political and religious differences and regional differences and all of that. Do the young people, from what you have heard, Arewa Consultative Forum, IPOB, and all of that, do they really are they thinking from that's part of thought that they can, take advantage of being good leaders in this country?
For me, I am aware that the young people of this country are ever and always ready to take charge of things that affect their lives. You see, when the best is not available, the worst becomes an option. That's the reality and the story of this country. Because we have structurally not involved young people. So they resort to annoying engagements. You tend to use them in violence. But the moment they are aware that you that is using them are same rights as they, because you can contest and they can also contest, there's a part of their intuition that will instruct them that, develop yourself and get involved. And also, if we look at the awkward stories, we have many reasons not to wake up as people living on the planet. We can just keep thinking about it. Life is this, life is that, but we surely will not give in. If we look at reasons young people are not going to take mantle of leadership, if we keep looking at the not so very good ones, so we see the minority, but they are, because their acts are very bad and they're dominating, we see those reasons, we will not see the very best. So I've always been saying that the best of us will lead all of us. All right. In the class of 20, everyone cannot be a first-class candidate. So the best will lead the class. That's why we're saying a Nigerian young person that is qualified should not be qualified to contest, should not be disqualified on the basis of age.
All right. Yeah, this is kind of a movement, not just in Nigeria at the moment. It was championed by the United Nations, and then the African Union even ran with it. And that is the theme for this year, empowering youths across the continent. So what were the Nigerian youth doing all this while? Why this time around that it's about time we did this? Why not since the new democracy came to being?
It's a forever agitation. It started since democracy. So it's not new. Just that we're using the power we have, the social media, the people's mandate, to ask more. I am aware through history and readings that the need to involve young people in Nigeria, in fact, birthed democracy. You can see Yakubu Gowon became head of state at 32. That's to tell you that the need to engage young people is part of our process. But structurally, at the point of the democratic process, some persons were very wise to see the future, that the world is moving because we're going technologically compliant and so many things will change. So let's find a way. The generation we're raising now might be powerful because we're powerful beyond measures, actually. Powerful than us. They might want to take over, so let's limit them. It is important at this time because there's an agenda called the Sustainable Development Goals, which is a universal call to engage, involve, and save our planet, ensure that people are living above the poverty line while we protect everything around us. And part of the key drivers of this are young people. how else will you involve young people if you do not make political investment? Because that's actually the best investment you can ever make.
It's the best investment.
Because it will drive other things. So that's what this year is about demographic dividends. We must take advantage of it. We are young, we are active, and we must, we must get involved.
All right, the House of Reps and even, in fact, the entire National Assembly seem disposed to this not too young to run bill. But the Constitutional Review Committee had a retreat in Lagos recently, and from the reports we got, they didn't even consider that as part of their consideration. The only thing close to that was the independent candidate.
After scaling the first 2 readings.
Yeah, in the House of Reps.
Yes, same worries. It's the same story every time. The Constitution Review Committee, the report said it was not part of their final drafts. But the Speaker and the Senate President came out saying that it's part, but the naming is changed. So it's not the not too young to run again. It's just we're yet to get the full details, which we're going to get today, because it's a clause by clause day in the National Assembly. So, but we're sure, because we've been reassured through the media platforms that are the House of Representatives and Senate that it's part. So we look forward to what will happen today. It's a national level of action.
In Abuja. All right, let's listen to what other members of the Not Too Young to Run movement are saying.
He said that the Not Too Young to Run bill is a bill that seeks to reduce the constitutional requirement for contesting for elective office in Nigeria. So as young people, we believe we are a critical part of this country. And there shouldn't be discrimination if democracy is a government of the people, run by the people and for the people. So the young people must not be precluded from their taking responsibility. So we think young people should be part of the decision-making processes, because we feel any representation for the youth without the youth is not for the youth.
A situation where a 100-year-old man will come out and be contesting for House of Assembly. We are tired of this situation where papas and mamas that are supposed to be sitting in the house and eating a banaku, they will now come and be struggling campaign seats with us. We are tired. We say that it is enough. The men have had it enough. The old people have had it enough. Let the youth come and let's see. We want a change.
We must change the stereotype of the people that tend to look at leadership prerequisites as something that lies in your pocket rather than something that lies in your head.
What they are saying is, if you are 25, 30, with mental ability, with physical ability, with intellectual ability, and the maturity that is needed to lead others, that we should allow them to run for political offices.
The Nigerian youth are coming to the table in full force. Did you notice a statement by the first talk head saying that any organization for the youth without the youth is not for the youth?
It's not for the youth. Well, it's good to coin all of those. But certainly we get into now the kind of buzz this is getting. We remember the 35% affirmative action when the ladies
for
were women at the time, and everyone was on board. But we still don't seem to see any... Ibrahim, when it comes to that, I know you've read and followed how things went at that time when the concept of give space to the women was the champion and the cause that time. And after a while it died down. Are we seeing, is it likely that we're going to see a difference from that now at this time?
Yes, there's a green light to that. If you read the details of the reports of the constitutional amendments, is saying that part of the bills that what is going to be discussed today at the National Assembly includes the fact that 35% of appointments should be for women in Nigeria. So the agitation at that time is coming to reality now. It's part. I read it, and we want to believe that our lawmakers are truthful leaders. So what we saw on the social media, we translate at the National Assembly today. So it doesn't become with part of our 2 years achievements and the committee saying no. That's very dubious.
All right.
So in essence, we're saying that we believe in strong leadership. And I am not an advocate that we are excluding our elders. No nation thrives alone with young people. It must be participatory. Everyone must come together, because I don't have another nation. I don't know about other people. This is my country. So we must all get involved. The older generation, the younger generation. That's why there is a need to open the space, make it more competitive. It's not about politics. This is not APC.
All right, because of time, let me quickly ask you this, and it's quite a big question.
Okay.
Are Nigerian youth ready to vote for their peers? Because we know money drives politics in the country. So if a young candidate comes out now, you think that Nigerian youths will say no to the money from the money bags and say, yes, we are voting for our own? Are you confident?
Yeah, I am confident. I need to say that. But there's a challenge. You see, poverty affects our political engagement. Last Saturday, during the local election, I was able to affirm the fact that there is real-time poverty in this country. People were actually being given Indomie, noodles rather, to come vote. So there is poverty in town, and one of the best ways we can fix poverty and eradicate poverty rather is through right leadership. So when younger generation, young people come on board, yes, we will, because it's going to be very tough. We need to be very sincere about that.
You're smiling.
Of course, I need to. There is a reality.
It's going to take some time for that to catch some fire.
That's why I've been saying this. We must be strategic first. Let's open the space. Then we have young billionaires. If the rule of the game is that, then we have young people who will be ready to play.
At least cross the bridge first.
Because politics is about who gets what, when and how.
When and how. All right. Ibrahim Awolabi, founder, Involve Africa. Thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.